Okay, shh. Okay, for a few minutes before I have to leave. Okay, we're learning yesterday about the two types that are considered separate types, and therefore you cannot choose one, select one from the next. Okay, now let's get into some practical cases. So there's a very interesting halacha that the Alter Rebbe has a different opinion than most opinions, and the Alter Rebbe's opinion is conceptually very different. What happens if somebody, okay, it happens. You have a bowl of soup or a drink and there's a fly in it, or a little bug in it. Now I want to get rid of the bug, right? I mean, you're planning to eat the rest of the soup, let's say, but you're getting rid of the bug. So the shaila is, how can I take out the bug from the soup? So just to take out the bug itself from the soup, that would be better. I'm taking out the bad from the good. The bug I don't want. But some poskim hold that you could take a spoon, okay, and together with the bug, I take out a little bit of the soup itself. Okay, a little bit of the liquid. Why is that okay, according to them? Because I'm taking out soup from soup. We learned that in the same thing, there's no better. So I'm not just taking out the fly. I'm taking out the fly together with soup. So I'm basically taking soup with soup. Soup from soup, so therefore there's no better. The Alter Rebbe in Siddur is very, very strict about this. He said that is most probable biblically forbidden, mamish biblically better. So the Alter Rebbe has a different advice what to do. And he says you can indirectly move the bug to the end of the bowl, and then you could tip the bowl and take the fly out, and pour the fly out. Okay, that you could do. And the Alter Rebbe explains why is that, because he has a unique understanding. He says when you pour out from a bowl, so halachically the Alter Rebbe holds, I'm taking what's in my hand away from what's being spilled out. I'm not removing the bug from the soup by pouring out the bug. The Alter Rebbe holds, I'm actually taking away the soup from the bug. So then I'm taking good from bad. So according to the Alter Rebbe, what you have in your hand, you're taking away. So the problem with that din would be what happens if it's reverse. And we'll soon see a case where it mamish be reversed. According to everybody else you could do it, according to Alter Rebbe you can't. Okay, anyway, we'll get to that soon. So, but the Alter Rebbe holds the only way you can get out a bug out from the soup or from the glass, whatever, is you're allowed to move the bug to the end of the bowl, because then you're not separating anything, it's still here, and then you pour it out like this and it's good. So that's the way the Alter Rebbe holds. Now, what happens if you have, I'll give you an example. You have a bowl of soup, and in the liquid you have a matzah ball, or you have a piece of chicken. What other examples does he give over here? Okay, eggs from a pot of water, okay? You have a pot of water, and you want to take the egg. You don't want the egg, but are you allowed to take out the egg or for later use? So the din is, because it's not mixed together, if it's solid, it's all mixed together. If you have peas and carrots, it's mixed together. Chunk, you have mixed potatoes and beans and barley and meat and all that stuff. But in liquid, if I have a bowl of soup, and there's a matzah ball in the soup, the poskim right, taking out, the Alter Rebbe holds like that also, taking out the matzah ball is not called beirev. Why is it not called beirev? Because it's a big thing, and it's very noticeable. So I'm not selecting, it's separate. A fly, a little bug, is small, so therefore I'm selecting it from the thing. But the Shulchan Aruch says if it is big, so then from liquid you could do it, from solid you can't. So then there wouldn't be better. Which means, let's say you give a kid a bowl of soup and there's a matzah ball, and he doesn't want it. He doesn't want the knedel, as it's called. So then you could take it out. Now if somebody else wants it, we learned even that then it's for sure not a problem, because then you're taking it out for the person, so you're taking good away from good, basically. But then it wouldn't be a problem. Or if you have, let's say, many people put the egg in a cholent might not work, because if it's solid, then maybe the egg is mixed together. It depends on the facts of the mitzias of what it is. But that's the way you have to do it. Okay, I'm just looking. What?
If you take the egg out of the cholent, you don't want the egg. It's very...
The question is, it says in halacha, in liquid it's not a problem. But if it's a cholent, it's all mixed together, and even the egg is like buried a little bit in the thing, it might be allowed, it might not be allowed. The shaila is, how far do you go with it that is separated? So according to many poskim, you wouldn't be allowed to do it.
So also if you have a bagel and a vegetable seed together.
Yeah, that would be a bigger problem. So how do you pour out? Not the way the Alter Rebbe holds. The Alter Rebbe holds taking a little bit of the cholent is not going to help you. Just like the fly from the liquid. Most people say it's good, by the way. But the Alter Rebbe says it's not good and you can't do that. Taking out together with a little bit of the food is not, it's too bad.
Take an egg out of water, like boiling water, separately, is that okay?
That's okay, because the egg is separate, it's not mixed in the water. It's not mixed in the water that you're selecting. You're not, even in English, think about it. If you have an egg in water, yeah? And you take out the egg, what do people say? I didn't say selected the egg from the water. I took the egg out of the water. Okay? But if you have a cholent, so somebody's not going to say, then you're going to use the expression, I selected the potato from the rest of the cholent. Because that's the mitzias. The fact is that there's a difference between removal, like we learned by peeling. You're allowed to peel right before eating, because it's not called it's not called separating. It's that's the way you're going to eat it. You have no choice. But peel for later use, we learned that you're not allowed to do it. You have to do it right away before eating. You can't peel an egg Friday night for Shabbos morning, to make egg salad Friday night for Shabbos morning. You can't peel eggs after Kiddush Shabbos afternoon for Shalosh Shudas. Because after Mincha you could do it, but you can't do it, or when you eat it you could do it, but you can't 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock take out, peel eggs to make an egg salad for Shalosh Shudas. That you can't do, because you're peeling eggs, has to be right before. Then there's another interesting issue, it's later, right? But the Alter Rebbe holds that you shouldn't eat walnuts that are in the shell on Shabbos. Now the Rebbe says there's two reasons for that. There could be two biblical halachos. When you crack open a walnut, so everybody knows in between the nut there's that skin. That skin. That skin is psalus. That's no good. So you have to take the nut away from the skin. You can't take the skin away from the nut, because then you're buried. You're selecting the bad from the good. So if you eat a walnut and you want to take the nut, you're going to have to take the nut away from the skin. You can't take the skin. Now the Rebbe says it's very difficult to be careful with that. Because people, when you're eating, you just take away one from the next. And you don't necessarily take away the good from the bad. And then the Alter Rebbe has another thing that he says, and that would apply to any shelled nut on Shabbos. And that is, the Alter Rebbe said, when you shell a walnut, the shell is not edible. So the shell is muktzah. So if you ever notice when people eat nuts and you crack nuts on the table from the shell, and the shell is right in front of you, so what do people do? You play with it. People have a tendency of playing with it, right? That's normal people do. That shell is muktzah, so you're moving muktzah on Shabbos. So that Alter Rebbe said, if you can eat walnuts that you're going to have to shell the walnut, you're going to have beirer plus muktzah. And that's why there's an old Yiddish minhag, I'll leave it with this. There's an old Yiddish minhag that when you make eggs, people that peel eggs on Shabbos, they do it right over the garbage can. Or if you do it over a napkin, and then, so I have to go.